Most people think starting a business is the escape plan. You leave the job, you build something of your own, and eventually you buy back your time. But what if that's not how it actually works? What if the reality is that it's messier, slower, far more demanding than anyone tells you? In this episode, you're going to hear from Aleks, someone who started his career in the structured world of Wall Street, managing investments, analyzing deals, operating in systems that were already built. And then he stepped into something completely different, a home service business, where there's no systems waiting for you, no playbook, no safety nets, just missed appointments, broken processes, unreliable teams, and customers expecting everything to work perfectly. What he found wasn't a shortcut to freedom, it was chaos. And more importantly, he realized that the only way out wasn't to avoid that chaos, but to go straight through it, to become the salesperson, the operator, the scheduler, the problem solver. Because the truth is, you don't get to build a scalable business until you first understand every moving part of it. This conversation is a reality check. If you've ever thought about starting a service business, or if you've already in one and wondering why it feels harder than expected, this episode will show you why. And more importantly, what it actually takes to turn something messy into something that works. Now let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Financial Freedom Podcast. Starting, running, and owning a service-based company, we have Aleks, a serial entrepreneur coming. He's started his career on Wall Street. Now he has his own company in northern New Jersey, a home service-based business. Really happy to have him on. Aleks, welcome.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. I look forward to having this conversation.
You started your career on Wall Street, investing, managing, monetizing portfolio. What brought you to the home service-based industry?
Indeed, I have a little bit of an eclectic career. I started as an investment banker, spent many years working for high net worth individuals in the family office space, originating deals, making investments, monitoring the investment, and ultimately exiting out. At some point, I realized I'd love to do this for my own family, for my own quote-unquote portfolio. I started soul searching and figuring out where my interests lie. Was hoping to hit the true pain point in the marketplace. The pain point came from my own painful experience. Being a fledgling homeowner, had issues with the roofing and gutters. I found myself in a situation calling a dozen service providers. Out of those 12 or 13 that I reached out to, only 3 made appointments, 2 showed up. And out of those 2, 1 did not want to look at the gutters, which was the primary purpose for my outreach to the contractors. He was dead set on selling me a new roof. It was challenging to usher the guy out of the house because he was refusing to leave. He wanted to sell me that roof during that visit. Another person who showed up was very down to earth. He climbed, looked at the gutters that I was having issues with, made an assessment, gave me a price, literally wrote it on a sheet of paper, handed this over to me, and that was the last time I heard from him. Literally no follow-up. That was my memory of it. There was something broken in the way some of this home services are being quoted and ultimately executed. I figured if I pull my experience of executive and user of technology, try to leverage some of this user-friendly experiences for the homeowners, perhaps we can make a difference in how homes are being serviced around exteriors, like the gutters and roofing. That's how Stern was started. We wanted to focus on technology-enabled home services solution. We've done it for the last couple of years. We have aspirations to continue pushing forward.
What are the advantages of home-based service versus product business?
The service element is there that you don't have to carry or worry as much about the inventory. We have 2-pronged business. We deliver service around cleaning and repairing the gutters. We have an installation business, which involves carrying the inventory of the supplies. What I learned the hard way is that the installation and contracting business is like a logistics business, because having parts in the proper timing, location is as important to success as delivering quality installations and providing customer service. I do not know if there are a lot of superior advantages when you are running a pure mixed business like ours. From the pure service perspective, lack of inventory and the commitment into the working capital that it requires is a huge difference.
Quick pause here. If this episode is making you rethink how your income is structured, that's intentional. Information doesn't create freedom, structure does. At the end of this episode, I'm going to show you how to diagnose whether you're building leverage or just scaling complexity. Let's get back into it. For someone listening to this, interested in investment banking versus starting their own home service or product business, what would you tell people who want to own a business but don't know where to start?
I'm going to say try out where you're going to like it most. The avatar that I'm speaking to is me 20 years ago. Younger guy willing to try different things, figure out how to build a career or the life path from there. Experience in investment banking was a great foundational experience. It gave me the business communication, the software, technical skills, skill in finance, enabling me to zero in what is important around cash flows for the business. I have zero technical skills related to servicing buyers. Home services is a very different skill set from investment banking. You have your customer in a similar way that you would have your seniors with an investment bank. You got to pay a lot of attention to, treat with respect, be responsive to what they ask you for to deliver. The actual service business itself, it's running a team, like a sports team. It's all about managing folks from your team, making sure they are engaged and motivated to work hard, but also follow safety as well as the other business protocols you need them to get the job done. None of these elements were available to me 20, 25 years ago when I was starting out. The only way to get into it was literally try it out and see whether that appeals to you.
How do people that decide to start their own business, become self-employed or business owner, how do they grow their business and stop becoming operators? What had to change in your own thinking to make that growth possible in people, revenue, and service areas?
This question has a lot of layers. It's like peeling the onion. Our story with Stern is different because it started with a vision of having the salesperson growing the sales force from there, having the installation team in place and growing from there. I learned very hard and quickly that having vision is not enough. It's about the small minutiae and operational protocols important to be conveyed to salespeople, to the installation, the service folks. I ended up stepping into the sales person myself, have been doing this for a year and a half now. Now this process is streamlined, how we would scale it. This is where I have the intent to hire additional people, coach and train them how I want the sales process to run. On the operational side, I find myself being in the field, helping manage inventory so the installation team can get things done. I get involved in scheduling. I don't think we're there where the team can operate self-sufficiently. We have aspirations to bring full-time operations manager in place, who's going to provide day-to-day tactical management items, also provide leadership. At this point, you have 3 trucks, the crews operating at the same time. This is like coordinating different teams on the field. Bottom line is, it took me the journey of thinking that this is going to be an easy transition to management through ownership. I ended up rolling up my sleeves, doing a lot of the day-to-day with the vision of how to step back, take a more holistic leadership role in the business. I haven't learned what needs to be done in order for the business to run successfully. I don't think there is a path that can be repeatable for every single person. I think one has to go through the journey and discover that for themselves. The only exception that I can think of is when folks starting the business are acquiring a franchise where the processes and protocols have been prescribed by the franchisor. All the person has to do is provide the capital, keep the turn on button, and execute the operating manual that the franchisor has put in place.
As a small business owner, what do you think is the single biggest lie people believe about building a service company?
It's going to be easy. It's going to be quick. But there is plenty of people who are willing to come and work, show up. It's, in my experience, messier, more complex, more layered, more intertwined, interconnected. One element of the business not properly working, affecting other elements of the business. It's not a big company where things like running as a well-oiled machine. I used to be a part of a multi-billion-dollar investment bank where if things trip up, there were checks and balances and backups in place that automatically came in. The machinery of the larger organization continued moving forward. With small businesses is not the case. One has to think through various contingencies. If I'm sick, if I'm not going out making estimates, that means a week, 2-3 weeks down the road, we may not have a business to execute. Some of the settlements I spend my time worrying about. It's definitely not easy. This quote is attributed to a billionaire, successful entrepreneur who started multiple businesses. His recommendation to business owners and entrepreneurs is don't do it because it's not easy.
How can people connect with you?
We are based in northern New Jersey. We operate throughout the northern part of the state. We are available through the website at sternguttersnj.com. We're available on social media, Instagram at sternguttersnj as our tag. I'm happy to discuss one-on-one small business considerations, thoughts that anyone may have from the audience. Ask questions. It's a big market out there. I don't view another person contemplating the gutter business as a competitor. Happy to share my experience in a more intimate one-on-one setting, answer any questions that the members of the audience may have.
Thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure.
Let's zoom out. If you're a physician, founder, or high-income professional, and you feel like you're working harder every year, but not structurally freer, you're not alone. The mistake isn't effort, it's architecture. This show exists to help you convert expertise into scalable leverage, faster and with fewer expensive missteps. Here's the diagnostic I mentioned before. If your income requires your constant presence, if your capital isn't compounding outside your profession, if your highest value talent is doing low value tasks, you don't have a growth problem, you have a leverage design problem. And if you want to fix it with clarity instead of guesswork, I offer a limited number of one-on-one leverage strategy sessions each month. We audit your income model, capital deployment, authority positioning, and structural bottlenecks, and design your highest return move. If you're serious about compressing years into months, the link to apply is below.